Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome to a stage production that you can attend to for free with unlimited seating, but you get what you pay for. Tonight's production is going to be a continuation of the Once in a Blue Moon stream series of Phoenix Wright, specifically Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. The curtain will rise on our hero's misadventures yet again, but please bear with me for some pre-stream announcements before we begin that. It has been a while. For those of you who do not know me, or do know me, or for those of you who are here, my name is Bscat or Robert, depending on how you want to address me. I am the streamer, I am the player, and I am your guide through this particular playthrough of this particular game. I do apologize for the lack of this. Phoenix Wright is a series that is very particular that when it comes to my motivation, that I need focus and voice, and for one reason or another, since the last time this was played, I have not had one or both of them. Shortly after the previous stream, I wound up getting sick and was dealing with such a terrible cough, and then the after effects of that, and then the last few weeks have just been super busy, so I've been tired. But we're here. We're gonna be doing some more. In terms of major announcements, I will point some of this out, considering this has not been announced here on the Phoenix Wright side of things. For the past few weeks, or couple of weeks, the entire group and I have been diving into the world of Fodlan as we finally begin our Three Houses series. We are doing the Blue Lion route first, and they happen on Fridays. We have 2 streams of it already, so if you haven't checked that out yet, I highly recommend you do. It's a very fun series so far. And on the other side of things, on Chris's channel, actually, we've been doing a stream series of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. And again, it's the full group, so it's bound to be a good time. That's about it for major announcements right now. So, without further ado, we should probably get started before I lose my nerve. Where is it? There it is. Hello! This is what I look like. This is going to be the face that you see watching and playing along with you guys as we are diving into the second day of the 3rd trial of this game. We are ready to go, and I'm just gonna have to start to remember this stuff on the fly, so no big surprise there, honestly. I'm just going to make sure that I'm not deafened. Right at the turnabout, trial day 2. Let's get started. May 12th, 9:34 a.m. High Court of Korean, accused lobby. And it has been a while since I've done these voices. This is gonna be it's gonna be a rough getting back into. It looks exhausted, but I can't blame her. Next, I was thinking about it all day yesterday. I never properly asked you to defend me, did I? Doesn't matter. I'm on this case till the bitter end. I know. That's why I wanted to officially ask for your help. You got it, Maya. Let's do this. We gotta wrap this up and get back home so you can make your dream show come true. Steel Samurai vs. the Plume Punisher, right? You bet. Oh god, fucking Reva. You look as if you did not sleep last night, Bobbed Head. It is written all over your face. How can you expect to put up a respectable defense like that? I'm all fired up and raring to go. Guess Maya's not the only one looking exhausted. Rifa doesn't seem to be in the best spirits herself. Go ahead, feign confidence now while you are still able. For I will see to it that your last rites are read to you this day. Okay, Rifa. Guess it was just my imagination. Ready, Nick? Okay, Maya, let's head on in. Been, I don't know, a month since we did this last. Let's see how well we can do. May 12th, High Court of Crane. All rise. Now then, if everyone is ready. The defense is ready, Your Majesty. The prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay. Oh, no prayers this time, Prosecutor Submati. I already offered my prayers for the latest victim during my visit to the crime scene. Being that the accused has already been found guilty of the first murder. Let us hasten this trial so we may put the dead lawyer walking out of his misery. I could not agree more. In yesterday's trial, the accused was already found guilty of murdering the High Priest. And today she will be tried for the murder of his disciple, Pere Zealot. Now then, Prosecutor Submati, your opening statement if you would. Certainly. The accused has now slain 2 of the most devout clergymen in Karaenism. Even the lowest of hell, the hell of tickling, would not be punishment enough. Then, what terrible fate awaits her? Balgilpokon. Balgilpokon Hell, a realm of eternal agony. There she will suffer the endless punishment of Jagar by the Golan of... Pomoten. Furthermore... Kojima... Enough! I don't even know... I understand what you're saying. I'm done with this. My blood runs cold at the mere thought that such a terrible place exists. I was going to ask for a translation, but on second thought, ignorance is bliss. Now then, please continue. My list part about the terrible hell awaiting the accused. As you wish. The victim of this heinous crime was the High Priest's disciple, Pere Zealot. He had been training under the High Priest while living at the priest's home. I'd met him a number of times, and he seemed like an earnest young man. How tragic that he met such a terrible end. The murder occurred at the Plaza of Devotion during the purification rite. It was a bold crime carried out while the plaza was full of the faithful deep in prayer. The Warbad dagger was found impaled in the victim's upper back. Stabbing caused a spinal cord injury that killed him instantly. The Warbad dagger, Lady Kira's weapon of choice. We have already established that the accused prints were on the weapon. Incredibly damning evidence in itself. No, I didn't do it! Objection! Hold your tongue. Now being that the accused Maya Fey is a serial killer, the prosecution believes that the death penalty is the only possible sentence. Will the defense care to respond? The accused is innocent and nothing can convince me otherwise. After all, the crime scene was packed with worshippers. How could my client possibly have committed this murder without a single witness? The accused's fingerprints on the murder weapon alone is enough to render a verdict. As such, I see no need to debate this any further. But once our benevolence conducts her seance, it will be clear for all to see. Your Majesty might have a word. Something in the matter, Prosecutor Sabati. It is about the divination seance. That's enough! Your benevolence! Stop right there, Prosecutor Sabati. As you wish. Forgive me for overstepping my bounds. What's that all about? Barbed head, have you made peace with your fate? For this time, the divination seance will bring you to your knees. I'm ready, and I accept your challenge. The only problem is I have no weapons at my disposal. Only hope now is what we can glean from the seance vision and Rafa's insights. Very well. The divination seance, if you please, your benevolence. Yes. Let us begin. Nena? And because it's been a month, we'll watch through the dance again. You know, despite her horribly rendered facial structure. Oh god, it's terrible.
Oh, Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Here we go again. Huh. That's interesting. Also, excuse me for just 1 sec. I knew something was off about the fucking share screen. What the fuck? Okay, that's not normal. That's not normal. Hold on. Guess it's better. Oh, what's freaking out all of a sudden? Kind of concerning, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, sorry about that. We'll look at that later. Anyway, we were able to see what happened regardless, which is to say we were not able to see a damn thing. The divination seance is not working, which is an issue. I don't get it. Why wasn't there anything to see? Your benevolence! What in the world? I was unable to evoke any sort of response. I called out the spirit's name many times, but to no avail. Just as I thought. Wait, what does he know that we don't? I had thought to confirm the contents of today's divination seance. After all, it is customary for the prosecutor to verify it beforehand. Come to think of it, I must go perform a divination seance for Pere Zealot. It is our custom for the prosecution to review its contents before a trial begins. And that is why I sought to stop her benevolence from performing it here. However, she insisted that it be done. She wished to try one more time here in the Hall of Justice. It would appear her benevolence is tired from her manifold duties. I am not anything of the sort. The victim's spirit will not answer my call, but I know not why. It is my sacred duty to convey the truth through the divination seance. Eva, what are we to do without a divination seance? I suppose I shall have to deliver the last rites without them. The prosecution has already taken that into account when preparing for today. I am fully capable of proving the accused's guilt, with or without the divination seance.
You never fail to impress Prosecutor Samani.
This is bad. The divination seance was my one and only hope. Your Majesty, her benevolence said she isn't tired, so shouldn't we try to find out why the divination seance failed?
Curious, Mr. Wright. Why have you suddenly taken such a keen interest in the divination seance?
Yes, explain yourself. The divination seance is for shedding light on the accused's crimes. It is the Holy Mother's hammer of wrath that is ever poised and pounded into your grave. Or to pound you into your grave. You should fear it, not plead for it. I believe in my client. Plus, yesterday, somebody told me something that changed my mind. The divination seance was once thought as just another piece of evidence. If we were to correctly interpret the visions through careful analysis, then they would lead us to the truth behind what really happened. And the truth will show that my client, Maya Fey, is innocent. The truth is, you don't have anything else to fall back on, huh, Nick? Maya, please, you're not helping. How dare you? The voice of a Mitama is to be feared, not utilized by vile lawyers such as you. Seances exact a heavy toll upon the royal priestess. It would be best not to burden her any further. Or does the defense feel it can pose no counter-arguments without the seance? No, of course not! He saw right through me. I have to find a way to make the divination seance happen, or we're toast.
Well, since the divination seance is not possible at this time, I see no other choice. Let us proceed with the trial without the seance, as Prosecutor Samani suggested.
Thank you, Your Majesty. I will not forget this barbed head. This will not be the last you see of me. Why is she getting upset at us? We were defending her. Now then, I will now proceed by providing an outline of the case at hand.
Very well. If the lead detective would please come to the stand, we may begin.
Sorry, Mr. Wright. Detective Sky, I understand how you would wish to save the accused and the defense. They are your friends, after all. But you must let them go and move on. But there is only one way to save them now. By giving their souls the chance to burn away the taint of their sins in the eternal infernal flames. No, I can't do this.
No eating in the Sacred Hall of Justice!
Miss Sky? Yes? Don't worry about me and Nick. You just do your job. I'm sure Nick will figure something out. Eventually. Right. Thanks, Miss Fey. How very brave for a criminal with a tainted soul. Very well, Detective Sky. Please proceed. Okay, I can do this. Let me start with an overview of this case. Well, shit. We're not off to a very good start, are we? What do we have, by the way? The newspaper, the autopsy report, the inner sanctum photos, my statement. There's warning, the trap, inner sanctum design. Okay, crime scene for zealots, and the autopsy report. Warbed dagger, the Namanda flower. Okay, a family photo, believed statement, a statement about the Feast of Blessings. Jinjil. Right. Brand new flag. Tome of Secrets. We never actually read it. The princess acting as Lady Kira's representative must know her name. That name is Imsan. Speaking this name is unforgivable. Lock this knowledge deep in your heart and devote yourself to prayer. Okay. Turk's Law Book. And the Rebel Hideout photo. With and without the bloodstain. Okay. The latest victim was Perez Zealot. He had been training under the High Priest and living at his house for the past 2 years. The High Priest's widow, Believe in Me, has identified the victim's body. He may have been mistaken for a rebel and killed due to his connection to the High Priest.
I see. That certainly makes sense. Would the defense care to respond?
It's fine. Any inconsistencies in their testimony so far. And I don't have any evidence in my arsenal. What am I going to do now? What is it, Maya? I was just wondering about how much the police actually looked into Acolyte Zealot. Because it just might prove to be the key as to why the divination seance failed. What are you getting at? Well, it's just a hunch. Wait a second. During my investigation, Rifa told me about how the divination seance works. I can figure out why it failed. Maybe she could try it again. Okay, time to press for more information. You need the full name and the face, or how they look. This victim was Parade Zealot. Hold it! What kind of person was Acolyte Zealot? According to the neighbors and others who knew him, he was a deeply devout youth. I too have heard his name mentioned as one who was a fervent practitioner. I suppose you might say he was the High Priest's star disciple. Furthermore, he had been training under the High Priest and living at his house for the past 2 years. Hold it. 2 years? Are you sure about that? We took statements from his neighbors and his fellow monks. They all corroborated our initial findings. Or corroborate. What about you, Maya? Well, when I first came here, I saw Zealot praying under the High Priest's instruction. I see. The results of the police investigation seem to check out. The High Priest's widow believed in me has identified the victim's body. Hold it! Was Miss Inme positive ID the only way you verified the identity of the victim? Huh? Well, no. We also checked his ID card he carried and the data in his family registry. But what? His personal information didn't match any of the public records we cross-referenced. Maybe that's why the divination seance failed. I'm not sure what you mean, Mr. Wright. Here's what I'm thinking. Ray Zealot is a fake name. The victim decided to hide his identity for some reason. In other words, he was using a fake name. The Royal Priestess uses a deceased face and true name. The Royal Priestess uses a deceased face and true name to summon their spirit. Why, yes, that is indeed true. If he was using a forged ID and there was no mention of him in our public records, then he was likely an illegal immigrant. They're not uncommon here in Krayin. An illegal immigrant? To think of it, Rifa mentioned something about immigrants yesterday. But if that's the case, we have no way of knowing who he really is. We'll have to proceed without holding a divination seance this time.
I always thought that Acolyte Zealot was Krayinese. Oh, how the High Priest must be lamenting his disciples' deception in the Twilight Realm. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think? We add this to the testimony.
This is an important fact. Please add it to the testimony.
It would seem to be a fact most inconvenient for the defense. But if you insist, Detective Sky, please add what you just said to your testimony.
Yes, Your Majesty. He was an illegal immigrant, so we don't know his real name. Oh? The peach? peach on his neck? Objection! Okay. Sorry, Detective Sky. But the police missed something important in their investigation. Huh? What are you talking about? The victim was undeniably a Koreanese native. And this crime scene photo proves it.
It does?
It's a little hard to see, but look closely. You'll see clear proof that the victim was Koreanese. Where? I don't see anything that would prove that. This proves the victim was Korean. I'm tired of that phrase. Fucking here, take a look at this peach. This one right here. Take that. Look at this tattoo right here.
That's a tattoo of a peach.
I would like you all to think about the meaning of this tattoo. Oh, the victim really liked peaches?
Well, peaches are a favorite delicacy here in Korean.
They happen to be a personal favorite of mine. The sweetness of their abundant nectars and the softness of their perfectly ripe flesh. They're a blessing from the Holy Mother herself. Nick, I've suddenly got a craving for peaches. After the trial, Maya, right now we have bigger fish to fry. Unfortunately, that is not a tattoo of a peach. It's not a peach, you say? Then what is it? A closer look. Haven't you seen something like that before? Only the tattoo on the High Priest's brow.
Oh my.
What? This mark is only borne by members of the Koreanist clergy. Objection! So that is what you believe it to be. But are they not utterly different shapes? Sure, they're shaped differently, but there's a reason for that. The victim had a peach-shaped tattoo inked over the existing tattoo for some reason. However, the dark red portion is exactly the same as the mark of all Koreanist clergy bear. I think you're right.
Until about 20 some odd years ago, everyone did get one, didn't they? I myself bear one on my right buttock.
That is entirely too much information, Your Majesty. Information on everyone who enters the clergy is maintained at the temple. All we have to do is look up a monk with a mark in the same spot. I'm on it. I'll let you know if I get any hits. That will not be necessary if you seek information on the clergy. I have it all right here.
Oh my, you never cease to amaze. So tell us, is there anyone who fits the bill?
There's just one, and his name is Real Nemu. God damn it, Capcom. And his name is Real Nemu. Real name. He became a monk 20 years ago. And that must be the victim's real name.
Why would he have tried to cover up his tattoo with another one?
Yeah, there must have been some reason. Nick, that's not important right now. The important thing is that we know his real name. You're right. Your Majesty, now that we know the victim's real name, the divination seance might finally work.
A lawyer who willingly seeks a seance. This is entirely unprecedented.
You are but digging your own grave, Defense. We won't know that until we try. Sure, it's risky, but it's our only hope.
Very well. Let the divination seance be held once more.
And we're gonna skip the dance Whoops. Here's more. Why would a lawyer work so hard to see the divination seance be held one more time? You are a fool, Barbed Head, and your foolishness shall yield no gratitude from me. For with the truth revealed by my insights, I shall gladly seek your demise. Bring it on, princess. Because I will correctly interpret each and every one of your insights. You will regret ever thinking you could use my sacred insights as evidence. Here we go. Oh, Holy Mother. Here we go again. We're not doing this second time. Yeah, Punisher theme, heavy. Pain. Heavy?
Oh my! It's just Mr. Wright's surmise. Perez Zealot wasn't the victim's true name. Now at last, we have seen the victim's final moments.
But all we could see was the ground. You seem terribly disappointed. I take it you did not find any fodder for one of your infamous turnabouts. I, on the other hand, have discovered something. Conclusive evidence that establishes the accused's guilt. You did?
Most surprising surprise attack. So tell us, Prosecutor Samadi, what is this conclusive evidence you have found?
The Plume Punisher theme song that the deceased heard. Please consider this item here. Fuck. It was confiscated from the accused during her interrogation. Hey, that's my Plume Punisher strap! When you press the Magatama on the Plume Punisher's belt. Ah! Seems the accused inadvertently pressed the button in the midst of her crime. This strap is an extremely rare item, is it not, Miss Faye? You better not break it. There's only one of those in the whole wide world. Maya, no! It is just as I said. Your flights of fancy have come crashing down on you. She sure seems to be enjoying this. Yeah, I've never seen her look so thrilled before either. It is time to accept the fact that the divination seance is far more than mere evidence. It is the very truth that brings the hammer of justice down upon the accused.
That is as conclusive as evidence can get. Now then, if there are no further objections...
Objection! I object to fucking everything! Slow down there, Your Majesty. At least let me make a counter-argument.
What's this? Do you take issue with the divination seance?
I have issues with it. I just don't know what they are yet. It's never stopped me before. The divination seance is not the absolute truth. It only becomes the truth after it's been interpreted correctly. You do not know when you are beaten, do you, you foolish lawyer? I am the only one who speaks for the Mitama of the deceased. If you believe there to be errors in my insights, then let us see you prove it. That's the general idea. Reverse insight. The victim was offering up his prayers. That's obvious. It was the night of the rite. The pattern on the ground's plaza was visible in the darkness. Then someone was there, and the theme to the Plume Punisher filled the air. The accused held the victim down and plunged her dagger into his upper back. The blade struck true, and in that instant he departed from this world. That is everything the deceased experienced in his final moments. The Benevolence's insights have painted a detailed picture, both vivid and true. I didn't notice any holes there. As they stand now, those insights are really stacked against us. I just have to go over each and every one of the deceased sensations very carefully. What is that about? Trying to partake in the dish, so prepare during the feast, which starts at noon. It must be finished by 3 p.m. the same day. Okay. Oh, it's dark. The pattern on the ground, plaza ground was visible. Then someone was there, and the theme to the Plume Punisher filled the air. Goose held the defenseless victim down and plunged her knife into his neck. Struck true, and he departed. Yeah, that's the Plume Punisher theme, alright. And she's holding the damn thing. Wait, that is the Plume Punisher one, right? Think so, yeah. Okay. Unrecorded injury from a stab wound to his back. Weapon is thought to be the Warbat dagger, the same weapon used to kill the High Priest. Night of the Rite, though it was the night of the Rite. Heavy, 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 heavy. Pain. Died instantly. Really? The Knight of the Right. Begin during the feast. Start at noon the day before the rite. Must be finished by 3 p.m. the same day. Oh, the day. I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah, okay. The day before the rite. I caved and looked up a guide just to push me along a little bit. Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, that makes sense. I missed the little the wording there. Got it. Oh, it's just objection. Fuck me. Was it really the Knight of the Right? What do you mean? It could not be otherwise. The accused slew Acolyte Zealot after killing the High Priest during the purification rite. The only problem is the deceased spirit does not corroborate that. What's this? Take a good look at what the victim smelled. Do you see how it says Gingiel or Gingiel? Acolyte Zealot should have smelled any Gingiel in the Night of the Rite. What do you mean? Let me back up my statement with some evidence for you. This should explain how the victim couldn't have smelled the Gingiel in the Night of the Rite. Take that! The High Priest's wife, Believe in Me, told me about the Feast of Blessings. The feast included a number of Gingiel-based dishes, and they're only supposed to be served at a certain time the day before the rite. Why, I believe you're right. I had completely forgotten about that. During the feast, the unique smell of Gingiel pervades the entire kingdom. The fact that the victim smelled it means he was murdered between noon and 3 p.m. the day before the purification rite. That's enough! Huh. I'm not so easily fooled. Did that autopsy report not make it clear? The estimated time of death was during the rite. Alright, I told her about that yesterday. Forgive me, your benevolence, but the estimated time of death is just that, an estimate. Depending on the circumstances, it's possible for it to change. What's this? Like, if a body was kept cold, the slowed rate of decay makes a death seem more recent. I believe I had heard something of this sort before. If it is as Mr. Wright claims, the estimated time of death in the autopsy report will have to be revised. Barb Ted, you blinded me with science. Sorry. Wait, what am I apologizing for? No matter. The murder may have occurred in the afternoon hours of the day before the rite. Nevertheless, The murder weapon with the accused's prints on it is incontrovertible evidence. I will now amend my insights to account for this new truth. And it was a bit dark. The pattern on the plaza's ground is visible. The time of death has been corrected, leaving my insight infallible. Nick, the change in the time of death is bound to cause some sort of inconsistency. It's something that showed what it was like on that day. I could really help. I knew it. Okay. I obviously didn't know that one, but I know what to account for next. Objection! Changing the date and time of the crime has caused a new inconsistency to surface. What's this? Ugh, you are making the irritating face again. Cease that at once. Sorry, but this is the face I was born with. Now, let's focus on what's important. What the victim saw in his final moments. Do you have bats in the belfry, Barbed Head? There is nothing to see. The ground here at the plaza was all that entered the victim's eyes. And that's what I find so strange. On the day before the Wright, it should have been impossible to see that pattern on the ground.
Impossible, you say? Do explain.
This piece of evidence shows why the plaza's ground was not visible that day. Take that! This newspaper has an article that is tiny in size, but huge in importance. It says that the ground was covered with thick white ice the day before the Wright. What? But...
Victim did not see so much as an ice cube on the ground.
Exactly. And so we must ask, what was the victim looking at in his final moments? If you have something to say, then say it. The last thing the victim saw was not the ground at the Plaza of Devotion. This can only mean he was killed elsewhere. What? What?
What? What? And where do you propose the victim was actually killed?
Yes, tell us where. Otherwise, your argument is worthless. About that. I hadn't gotten to that part yet. Any ideas, Maya? Let me think. Well, it's somewhere green and shaggy, right? Right, but where could that be? What is it, Barbed Head? Giving up already? Not at all. Where have I seen something green and shaggy? This shows where the victim was killed. Yes, for a reference, we got the two green and shaggy stones right here. One of them, which is unstable. Take that! The secret hideout the rebels were using. The Rebel Hideout? There was no such place anywhere on the floor of that chamber. You're absolutely right. There's no place on the floor anyway.
Then what did the victim see in his final moments if not the floor of the Rebel Hideout?
This is what the victim saw in his final moments. Take that! The shaggy green surface the victim saw was one of the moss-covered stone slabs. As you can see, there were two distinct hand-shaped impressions in the moss here. I believe the victim was killed while he stood there with his hands pressed against the slab. Objection! That does not agree with the seance vision. However, one cannot definitely declare they are one and the same.
Concur. There's no proof that a murder occurred in the Rebel Hideout.
Indeed. What evidence do you have of this? I've already shown you the evidence.
What do you mean?
Please take a look at the second version of the photo I showed you. You can see the results of the Luminol test I performed in the Rebel Hideout. This is proof positive that someone had been bleeding in front of that stone slab.
Is this true?
This information has already been provided to the police.
Detective Sky, to whom does this blood belong?
We thought it was the High Priest's blood that flowed in from the outside. So we haven't tested it yet.
Then you must do so at once.
Yes, Your Majesty. There we go. Now we're on a roll.
It appears the police have finished testing the blood. Detective Sky, your report, please.
The blood found in the Rebel Hideout belongs to Perez Zealot, just like the defense claims. Detective Sky, do you realize what your blunder has done to me? When this trial concludes, I want to see you in my prayer chamber. There, I will deliver a joyous sermon onto you for 8 straight hours. I'm really sorry, but please, anything but that. Nick, maybe, just maybe, it's the chance we've been waiting for. Yep, it would seem so. I hate to do this to Emma, but go for it. It's full speed ahead. The victim was killed in the Rebel Hideout the day before the purification rite. Then, his body was moved to the Plaza of Devotion by someone we've yet to identify. So when we thought we saw Acolyte Zealot praying during the rite, he was already dead. And that's not all. If he was killed at the Inner Sanctum, that would explain one more thing.
And that would be?
How the time of death was made to look later than it actually was. The proof of which was left behind at the Sanctum. This points to how the time of death was made to appear later than it actually was. Take that!
Why, these are photos of the Inner Sanctum.
I'd like you to focus on this one. The proof is right here in this photo. This is how the time of death was made to appear later than it really was. Do you see how the snow has been removed from this one spot only? That's because it was used to keep the victim's body cold. And that's why the time of death wasn't what it seemed. That's enough. The time was mistaken, and the place too. Just what do you believe that proves? That my client is innocent. What of her fingerprints on the dagger? And the Plume Punisher's themed the victim heard? You have failed to address these two key pieces of evidence.
I see your point.
Wasn't this your big chance, Nick? I'm really hoping that the difference in location can invalidate either the weapon or the theme song from being used as evidence against you. Actually, that might be possible. At least for one of them. Really? What's this? You say you can contradict our argument for a key piece of evidence. Very well, let us see you try. Nick, take a good look at the Rebel Hideout photo.
Oh!
The defense can invalidate this piece of evidence. The Plume Punisher theme. And how do you intend to support such a claim? Since the murder happened in the Rebel Hideout, there's something there that played the theme song other than my client's strap.
It wasn't the strap. Is this true?
The item that played the Plume Punisher theme song was this. Take that! It's the Plume Punisher alarm clock. I believe the victim heard its alarm go off. That's enough. What proof do you have that the alarm went off? Objection! What proof do you have that it was my client's strap that played the theme song? Do not twist the facts with your lawyerly wiles. Either way, the accused would still be guilty based off of prints on the murder weapon. And here is what really happens. Okay. Then there have been some twists and turns. That is the truth of what happened. I won't get anywhere unless I can eliminate the dagger.
It's impressive, your benevolence. I see no inconsistencies anywhere in the prosecution's case.
No. There is one.
What's this? You still claim there to be an inconsistency?
Try as you might, the outcome will always be the same. Alright, so he's up against the thing. Punisher theme. Heavy, heavy, heavy... pain. Got it. Wait, the neck? The neck? Let me just double check my theory here. Yep, I thought so. Wait a minute. Okay. This is what I get for not reading the new statements and taking them for granted. Objection! The victim was originally thought to have been stabbed while bent over in prayer, but he was actually standing with his hands against the stone slab. The question is, where did the sensation of something heavy come from?
Yes, I see your point.
Since the victim was standing, he couldn't have been held down. Then tell us,
Mr. Wright, what was that heavy sensation felt by the victim?
What caused the heavy sensation Zealot felt? Any thoughts, Maya? I agree, that sense of heaviness seems important, but there's also the matter of Zealot's hands on the stone slab. Why were they even there? Could it be related to the cause of the heavy sensation?
Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any answer for us?
Of course. But just envision the state Zealot was in when he was killed. Cause of the heaviness the victim felt was the falling stone slab. The only conceivable cause is the stone slab falling over, trapping the victim underneath.
What?
Oh. The stone slab came falling down on him, crushing him underneath. Right. That was the cause of the heavy sensation the victim felt. Objection! While your theory is impressive, you have overlooked a key fact. The victim was not crushed to death, rather he was stabbed. Oh yeah. Or do you claim that the dagger was plunged in after the slab had fallen on him? Plus, had the killer been behind the victim, they would have both been crushed together.
Well, what would you care to explain?
Or I'd love to. That doesn't mean I can. How could the dagger have been plunged in after the slab had fallen on the victim? The killer couldn't have plunged the dagger into the victim after the slab fell on him. But with the murder weapon, wasn't what we thought it was. Well, there were other weapons in the Rebel Hideout. But the entrance to the hideout is right behind the stone. Is right by the stone slab. There isn't enough space between the two to use any weapons found within. Yeah, there's not much space by the entrance, is there? So what was the real murder weapon then? Better think of something. If the murder weapon wasn't the dagger, then the dagger must have been plunged into the victim after he was already dead. That means he was stabbed at least twice, but the autopsy doesn't mention that. Then he must have been stabbed in the same spot with something shaped like the dagger. Would the defense care to offer an explanation sometime this century? Wait, wasn't there something dagger-like near the scene of the crime? Something that had the shape similar to the Warbad dagger?
Present your evidence at this time, Mr. Wright.
It shows what really killed the victim. Where the fuck's that picture? Take that!
This is not the photo from the scene of the High Priest's murder. Are you suggesting the murder weapon is hidden therein?
This is what really took Pere Zealot's life. Double checking if I'm on the right track. That wasn't normal. That wasn't normal indeed. The stream is fine again. We'll call it a glitch and move on.
But that is the
Warbad the Warbad statue. Exactly. The Warbad statue has dagger-like feathers protruding from it. That is what really took the victim's life. Objection! You imbecilic fool! The statue is outside of the hideout. How do you propose it impaled someone who was inside? Haven't you heard? The Warbad statue also functions as the hideout's door. What do you mean? The statue can pull a complete switcheroo. A switcheroo? To put it simply, it's a revolving door.
a revolving door. Well, that makes perfect sense.
Therefore, I believe the truth behind the divination seance to be this. As the victim entered the secret hideout, the stone sculpture came toppling towards him. He threw his hands to stop it, but its weight forced him backwards. Unfortunately, the Warbat statue was right behind him. This cannot be! That's enough. But the accused's fingerprints were found on the dagger. She had held it while rehearsing for the rite, which is when her prints got on it. Ugh.
This is a shocking turn of events, but there was a great deal of circumstantial evidence in the defense's favor. I believe we must accept that the Warbat statue was what killed the victim.
Now that we know how Acolyte Zealot really met his demise, there's no basis for claiming my client committed this crime. Nice work, Nick. How can this be happening yet again? The divination seance is the only truth. No, your benevolence. It's not the truth itself, but it is a means for shedding light on the truth. You understand now? Your kingdom needs lawyers so they can interpret your insights. But that means I have been misinterpreting the voices of the spirit all this time.
Your benevolence, are you unwell? All the color is drained from your face.
It will be fine. Continue your proceedings without me.
As you wish.
I feel kind of bad for her.
Now then, I would have the defense continue. Please explain what you have learned now that we know how the victim actually died.
Acolyte Zealot was killed in the hideout before the High Priest murder. That means the body found at the Deposit of Devotion was moved there by the real killer. But only after the Warbat statue was thrust into him, to make it look like the murder weapon.
That does seem to agree with what we now know. But why would the real killer go to such lengths?
I believe stabbing Acolyte Zealot's body with the dagger and moving it to the plaza was to make it look like a serial murder. It was an attempt to make my client look like a serial killer. That's right. The real killer planned all of this. This forged serial murder case.
They did?
That's it, Nick. Keep hammering away. Satara! I am not trying to do this. Your reasoning has more holes in it than that cheese you foreigners so enjoy. What? With those putrid hole-ridden clumps of curds that only a rat like you can love. Your reasoning, much like your putrid hole-riddled brain, has putrefied. What's his deal with things going putrid? You have yet to overturn my argument that the accused is the killer. A careful analysis of the chain of events up to the killing exposes the truth as follows. Disguised as Lady Kira, the accused found the Rebel Hideout the day before the rite. But Acolyte Zealot had followed her there after noticing her suspicious behavior. Caught by surprise, he pushed the stone slab towards him, and we know the rest. I've never been to the Rebel Hideout in my life. When the High Priest arrived at the sanctum the next day, he realized what she had done. That is when the accused murdered him in order to silence him.
Lead Prosecutor Samadi has posed a compelling scenario. Defense, on the other hand, has yet to disprove the accused's guilt.
Objection! Why would my client move Acolyte Zealot's body to where everyone could see it? And why would she stab the dagger with her fingerprints into his dead body? She had no reason to do any of these things. The dagger in his corpse was likely a warning to the rebels. something along the lines of, Lady Kira will slay the defiant dragons.
So that is why she moved the body to the plaza for all to see.
Is the judge convinced too? I thought it finally made some headway.
Well, Mr. Wright, about time for one of your groans of distress, is it not?
Groan of distress? Kills me to admit this, but I've got nothing to counter his argument with. I still haven't disproven the allegations against Maya.
Is it not time to end your futile struggle? You already judged guilty yesterday. That makes you a dead lawyer walking. Accept the debts that awaits you, and in doing so, finally know peace.
A dead lawyer walking indeed. Then again, are not all lawyers who practice in Korean? But I must admit, I misspoke earlier. Allow me to amend my statement. It said the defense's reasoning had a putrid cheese-like smell. But I now realize the stench was from his own putrid body on the verge of death. Now I'm a rotting zombie. Think, who could have killed Zealot the day before the rite? Who knew about the Rebel Hideout, and who could gain access to the inner sanctum? He doesn't vote that the Wright can enter the sanctum, so... Wait a second. Only a rebel would have known about the secret hideout. And the only person who was involved with the Wright, had access to the sanctum, and was suspected of being a rebel is... Did something come to mind? Yes, except there's one huge problem. A huge problem? What are you two going on about? Plotting your escape from the Sacred Hall? I would not put it past you, considering you have no means to raise further objection. If I don't do something, Prosecutor Submati will have this one in the bag. I just have to bluff my way out of this, regardless of that huge problem. Your Majesty, I believe there is another suspect in Perez Zealot's murder. Objection! Even though his benevolent Holy Mother would not forgive such a desperate lie. After all, you know very well that such a person does not exist. No, there is one person who knew everything.
Does such a figure truly exist? Tell us, who might that be?
I believe the prime suspect in Acolyte Zealot's murder is... Take that! It had to be someone allowed to enter the sanctum and who knew of the hideout. And that would be the High Priest. He could have committed the crime if it occurred the day before the rite. Satana! He would pin a crime upon the dead, knowing very well they tell no tales.
Have you no shame?
Dead men tell no tales. That's definitely a problem. If only the High Priest could tell his side of the story. What? Do I have something on my face? Wait a second. Could this actually work? Oh no. Don't tell me I have some breakfast cup in my teeth. No, if there's even the slightest possibility, I'll have to go with it. Your Majesty, dead men do tell tales. Therefore, I would like to request the High Priest's testimony.
His testimony? And just how do you propose we get the deceased to testify?
There's a way for the dead to testify. It's known as channeling. Summon him here by means of spirit channeling.
What did you just say?
Spirit channeling? Has this lawyer finally gone insane? This is sacrilege, blah 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 blah.
Peace! I'm frankly astonished you even know of such a thing. But spirit channeling is a secret art that only Her Eminence Queen Garan can perform. And Her Eminence is far too busy with other duties to perform it at our pleasure.
I suspected as much. That means our only hope is... It's okay, Nick. You can tell them. But Maya... I thought you wanted to keep it a secret here in Korean. Don't worry. It's not like it's against the law or violates some religious precepts, so I don't think we'll be punished. At least I hope not. But this is a crucial period for you. It will decide whether you become a master of Khura'in. We don't have any other choice, now do we? If I'm found guilty, it'll be a lot worse than not becoming a master of Khura'in. Alright. Thanks, Maya. Actually, there is someone here who is capable of channeling spirits. Slaughter! But even her benevolence, Princess Rafa, finds the divination seance to be a challenge. Who could possibly have greater spiritual power than she, aside from the Queen? That would be me. Some sort of joke? A foreigner could not possibly have such power. Even the royal priestess is incapable of such a feat.
Peace, I say! Is this true? Is the accused capable of performing the secret art of spirit channeling?
Well, yes. And yes, I can. Now, Your Majesty, we'd like your permission to begin. That's enough. Your benevolence. This is an outrage. An outrage, I say. First, you make a mockery of the divination seance, and now spirit channeling? It's a sacred rite. Foreign devils, blah, 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 blah. Still your voices. Bob Ted, spirit channeling is the most sacred and secret of arts. Are you prepared to face the consequences of what you propose?
Yes, I am. Benevolence, are you saying you approve of their use of spirit channeling?
I will judge whether their claim is true. If this is but another of their lies, they shall be executed on the spot.
Well then, your benevolence. What if the accused accidentally calls forth an evil spirit?
Do you truly believe this foreigner is capable of channeling spirits?
Oh, no, but I wanted to be sure, as I am responsible for the safety of all present.
Well, an inexperienced practitioner could inadvertently call forth a dangerous spirit. But do not fear, for I have a Magatama of parting. With it, I can send spirits back to the Twilight Realm by halting the flow of spiritual power.
That is a relief indeed.
These foreigners have thrown down the gauntlet. Let us not shirk from their challenge. We must prove them guilty and deliver them their last rites. Do I make myself clear, Prosecutor Samadi?
Perfectly, Your Benevolence. Very well. The accused may channel the High Priest's spirit. But first, we must take a short recess to prepare. We will resume as soon as the preparations are complete. Until then, this court is adjourned.
To be continued.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, this should be fine. But we are going to take a short break ourselves, as I need to step out for a second. So, yeah, let's do that. I will be right back. Don't go away. There will be more Phoenix Wright soon. Alright, I have returned. I have returned, so. Let's get back into it. Yeah. Should have stayed in the other slot. Oh well. May 12th, High Court of Crane, accused lobby. Sorry, Maya, but this was the only way. Sure you're up for this?
Thanks for believing me, Nick. Even though I don't know if my channeling ability's on point yet.
Oh, right. Before she started training here, her success rate was only about 30%. I know you can do it, Maya. At least, I hope she can. So you're sure you're ready?
Yeah, at least I think so.
You don't sound so confident. What about all your training?
Training's one thing, actually doing it is another.
Oh, I see. Uh-oh. If she fails to channel the High Priest, we're as good as dead.
Relax, Nick, you can count on me. I'll show you what my training's done for me. This will be a moment you'd never forget.
Okay. Let's hope it's unforgettable in a good way.
Once we hear Abbot Indy's story, I'm sure the truth will come to light.
I hope so, but he was hiding the fact that he was a rebel, so I doubt it'll be as cut as dried as all that. They are all ready for you. Please return to the Hall of Justice at once. Okay, Maya, I'm counting on you.
You got it. Here we go.
May 12th, High Court of Crane. Let's fucking go. We've received official approval for the accused challenges to channel a spirit here today. Now, if you will, Miss Faye, please proceed.
Yes, Your Majesty.
I can't believe this. Only the Queen should channel spirits. Execute them. Fuck their day. Maya, I'm counting on you.
I've been studying here in Crane for the past 2 years, so that one day I will be the Master of Crane, a village of spirit mediums back home. But first, I shall show you all the fruits of my training in your kingdom.
Wow, she seems really confident.
A neophyte practitioner such as you could not possibly channel a spirit. Okay, Your Benevolence, how about this? If I succeed, will you start calling me a neophyte? Very well, if you succeed. Oh, I will. Just you watch. O spirit of Terrest in me, slumbering in the Twilight Realm, return now to the world of the living.
What is this place? Oh my!
No, this cannot be.
Pokunka!
It's the High Priest. The accused really can channel spirits. I don't believe it. The accused power is the real deal. Go, Maya.
I do not understand. This cannot be. This simply cannot be. I must step out now before I forget myself.
A bit in me. Would this be the Twilight Realm? What of this? Luxurious made of hair. Is it perhaps a gift from the Holy Mother for decades of faithful service? I bet in me. My, but if it isn't his majesty, have you too shuffled off that mortal coil? Please do not count me among the dead. It is only you who has passed on. But spirit medium Maya Fey has brought you back among us today. Why? Light Fey has mastered the secret art of spirit channeling. I suppose that explains these gorgeous locks. When I pass from this world, I too hope to be channeled with a full head of hair. I wish it to be for the briefest of moments. I give thanks for the splendid coiffure. Praise be to the Holy Mother. However, this kimono is a bit too snug for my tastes. If you'd excuse me. There, that is better.
Could we get to his testimony now? I wish he keeps his top on.
Why, you are that foreign lawyer the people speak of late. This is not the Hall of Justice. Why have I been summoned here? Forgive us for calling you back from your eternal rest. But you have been accused of murder. Might we ask you to testify on your own behalf? I have been accused of murder. That is troubling indeed.
What's with that crazy pose?
Is this really cause for such astonishment? Even the lowliest of monks can achieve such body control with proper training.
Oh, I wonder if Albie will be able to do that someday.
The defense, please explain the situation to the High Priest.
I'd be happy to. Your disciple Perez Zealot has been murdered. It happened on the day before the purification rite. And the crime occurred in the Rebel Hideout hidden within the inner sanctum.
Acolyte Zealot, he's been killed. Who would do such a thing?
Someone who knew of the hideout and had access to the inner sanctum. In other words, you, Abbot Inme. After all, weren't you secretly a rebel? Oh dear. That's still Maya's body. I hope he doesn't break anything.
Huh.
That's the advanced prayer pose. Ugh.
Oh my, have my rebel allegiances been exposed? Not even my wife knew of that. It seems to rest in peace is not my fate.
Why did you, a devout priest of Koreanism, join the rebellion?
Objection!
The High Priest has come back to us, but for a brief time, defense. Shall we not cut to the chase and ask for the most pressing of questions? Oh, right. Abbot Inme, the prosecution believes the one who slew both you and Acolyte Zealot to be Maya Fey, who had been playing the role of Lady Kira in the rite.
That being I was dead until just a moment ago. My memory is a bit hazy.
Could you please do your best to remember? Objection! The High Priest says his memory is hazy.
It's all coming back to me. It is as prosecutor somebody concluded. I was slain by none other than Maya Fey.
The High Priest's statement has been proven by his assertions with regard to his murder correct. No! What about Acolyte Zealot? You were the one who killed him, weren't you?
I know naught about my disciple's murder. Furthermore, I have an alibi of my own.
An alibi? Seriously?
Seems the testimony of the defense has been hoping for is working against him. Now, Abbot Inme, your testimony, if you please. Yes, of course. I have an ironclad alibi for the time zone in which the murder took place. Just past noon on the day before the riot, I was entertaining guests at my home. I believe my guests can corroborate this.
You had guests. It's past noon. It's right about the time Zealot was murdered. Are you sure about that?
Absolutely.
Come to think of it, Rafa told me about a spirit's memory. A spirit's memory is cut off at the moment of their death. So even a spirit that's brought back after centuries isn't sensing a gap in time between the moment of its death and the moment it's channeled. Yes, and yet it clearly recalls all the memories it had in life. High Priest seems to know exactly what he's talking about. So the question is, what would be the best angle of attack? Okay. I call it alibi. Specimen doing the day before the riot, I was entertaining guests in my home. Hold it. You use the word alibi as if it were a second nature. I also just realized this entire time I forgot to switch the fucking thing over. Oh well.
Are you perhaps mocking me? Or is it perhaps the kingdom of Korean itself you wish to ridicule? Peace, 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 I say. Mr. Wright, would you care to clarify your last statement?
Please don't take it the wrong way. It's just alibi is a rather technical term for a priest to use so naturally.
I assure you, I know how to use the term. In fact, I had even hoped for a chance to do so one day. I suppose that even I, High Priest, am not immune to such trivial worldly attachments.
Oh, I see. Still, he seems unusually calm and composed. It's almost as if he had prepped himself for something like this. Hold it! Guests? And you were entertaining them personally?
That I was. We gathered around the table for our most enjoyable conversation.
He said his guests could corroborate his alibi. That can't be good for our case. Are you sure that that was the same day as the murder? Maybe you've misremembered.
Ha! Do not touch my mnemonic facilities. I may have died, but my memories up to that point are crystal clear.
Sorry. He's pretty thin-skinned for a priest. I guess I should have known better than to doubt his memory. As we just went over.
There's nothing better than enjoying Jinjil cuisine with dear friends. That way, everyone's breath can become equally malodorous.
Right. Hold it! And who exactly were your guests that day? Don't tell me they were rebels so they can't be called here to testify.
It's none other than his majesty, as long as with his family. Couldn't attend the rite due to work, so he stopped by ahead of time. My, how his daughter has grown.
Wait a second.
Let me set the record straight right now. I'm not a rebel. Thank you for that wonderful meal Abbott in me. Lady Amy's cooking simply cannot be beat.
So, there you have it.
When exactly was this magistrate at your home?
He was there from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Indeed, precisely the time period within which Acolyte Zealot was slain. Yes, and we had a rousing chat concerning a game of Kachu Demal. But I'll just have that added to the testimony. After all, it was I who visited the High Priest's home.
Yes, magistrate and his family, they visited from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Let me take a look at that fucking autopsy report again.
Nope.
Objection!
No?
Is something the matter?
Sorry, that scream just sort of slipped out.
I don't know about trials in your country, but we refrain from such rash outbursts here.
Okay. I'm not helping my case but in the judge's eyes, both literally and figuratively. Okay.
Hold it.
Your Majesty, are you sure this testimony is completely accurate?
As sure can be. Oh, how wonderful it is to finally have my actions be admissible as evidence in court.
Now, lovely. And I reported it without blocking it. That's interesting. Oh well.
His Majesty was at my home during the exact time period of the murder. Come, let us put this behind us. I could not have possibly committed this crime.
How could you be so sure? What if the clock or watch you were using was off, or you misread the time?
There was a clock right near the table, and it had exactly the same time as my watch. How do you understand, lawyer? As you can see, my alibi is airtight. Or do you still think I could have killed Acolyte Zealot?
Magistrate's a witness? Are you satisfied now? There is not a single discrepancy in Abbott Idmi's alibi. If I give up now, it's all over. Now hold on a sec. There's anything wrong with the High Priest testimony. There is a discrepancy in the High Priest testimony.
There is. Well then perhaps you could explain what it might be.
This is what was wrong with this testimony. One moment. Yeah. Okay. He knew the time of the crime. After Abbott in me was channeled,
No one ever stated what time Acolyte Zealot was murdered.
I'll let you mention it.
Despite that, you claim to have an alibi for 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. That means you knew that Acolyte Zealot was dead when you were still alive. Wait, I think I saw something just now as I looked away. Oh yeah, his soul flying out of the body. No, I must be imagining things. So tell me, how do you know what time the crime had been committed?
About that.
Open your heart, let the Holy Mother in.
Why, we've been blessed with the High Priest's sacred words of prayer. All who serve our holiness must strive to banish worldly desires from their soul.
Open your hearts, let the Holy Mother in. Purge your mind of greed and bias.
I feel as my very soul has been cleansed.
You can't fool me. Prayer may banish worldly desires, but it can't make a contradiction disappear. Satana. How can you be so sure? What's that supposed to mean? This lawyer seems to think little of the power of Crainis prayer. Huh? Oh boy. Abbot Envy was at home during the crime, but knew of what happened at the hideout. I believe this can be explained thusly. He must have had a way to monitor the hideout from his home. What? You never cease to amaze, Prosecutor. As you surmised, there was a listening device installed at the hideout. It enabled me to instantly learn of anything unusual, even when I was not there. Remember, the rebels had been using this as a top-secret hideout. It would be perfectly natural for them to install such an apparatus. Wait, come to think of it, when I was searching the rebel hideout... There's something under the banner. A microphone? What's this doing here? Someone trying to record something with it? That was a listening device.
It starts recording whenever it detects movement. And I heard such a recording after his magistrate and family left. If you look into the desk in my study, you will find that tape in question. Alright then. Bailiff!
Yes, Your Majesty.
Retrieve the tape in question from the High Priest's home.
At once, Your Majesty.
Power of Crainis prayer. Even a putrid brain such as yours should understand it now. It's like the contradiction really did vanish.
We shall ascertain the contents of the recording once we have the tape. Meantime, I would ask Abbot Inmate to continue with his testimony.
Very well.
I heard everything.
I was entertaining his majesty and his family when the crime occurred. When I listened to the tape later, I had heard a man and a woman quarreling. It sounded like an altercation between Acolyte Zealot and Acolyte Faye. After that, there was a loud noise, followed by a haunting silence.
To find some way to attack his alibi.
If only Maya were here. She has a way of putting me at ease.
Seeing her like this is only creeping me out.
If the High Priest was a rebel, he was still a Crainis holy man. Therefore, take care in your questioning, lest you invoke the ire of our people.
Excuse me, as if this wasn't hard enough already. Nice try, but I'll stop at nothing to find the truth. His family when the crime occurred, but this did tape later. I heard a man and a woman quarreling. Hold it! I heard everything from the recording. Indeed. Each night I would secretly check what the listening device had recorded. I would have been in serious trouble with my lovely wife had she discovered my secret. Can you really tell what happened by the audio alone? Long years of aesthetic training have sharpened my hearing. It's a simple matter for me to ascertain a situation by the sense I hear. Practicing Koreanism improves your hearing? Hearing is but one of the senses it can improve. One can focus and attain inner peace. All 5 senses can be sharpened. Why, the warbad over in the bazaar just cried. Did you not hear it? Give me a break. Hold it. Hold on. Are you sure about those voices? Was it really Acolyte Zella and Miss Faye? I say that it was the most reasonable conclusion under the circumstances. Only perhaps Acolyte Faye has an alibi you can prove. I'm afraid not. Then I suggest you make like a mollusk and clam up. Now, I will continue my testimony if I may. Nope. Hold it. A loud noise. I'd say that's worth looking into. It was a terrible crashing sound. Poor Acolyte Zealot. It must have felt so heavy. It must have been the sound of that stone slab falling over. Can I have him add that statement to his testimony? Please add that statement to your testimony. As you wish. I would describe the noise as a terrible crash. Poor Zealot, it must have been felt so heavy. Hold it. You believe that terrible crash is connected to Acolyte Zealot's death? Yes, the sound no doubt was poor Zealot's death knell. It's a tragedy, for he was a fine disciple. I would ask all here today to give a prayer for his departed soul. Toshire Matami Yoma.
I hopes for that young man's future. Zushire Matami Yoma.
Why do I feel like such a jerk for just trying to do my job right now? So all he knows about the crime is what he heard on the tape. He was with his magistrate and his family at the time. Now that I have proven the soundness of my alibi, I believe it is about time for me to return to the Twilight Realm. What's the rush? Why not enjoy some more time among the living? Better find a way to attack his alibi soon. Just have to press harder and hope that something useful comes out. Hold it. You were entertaining his majesty and his family at during the crime. Indeed, my wife believed was treating them to her wonderful home cooking. Your wife was there that day? Oh yes, she was in the kitchen cooking up a storm the entire time.
Come to think of it, I don't think I saw her at all that day.
She takes her culinary duties most seriously, you see. That is why she was in the kitchen cooking without pause the entire day. The judge never saw Miss Inmee. I have Albert Inmee add that statement to his testimony. Please add that statement to your testimony. As you wish. My wife, Believe, was in the kitchen cooking the entire time. Hold it! What was your wife making that day? The menu that day featured patin soupaise and meltamot. They're both traditional Koreanese dishes. I can't even begin to imagine what those are.
Yes. The exquisite zest of patin soupaise and the supreme texture of melton mott. Lady Amy's cooking that day was utterly unforgettable.
Thank you. It brings me great joy to know you enjoyed your meal. Now once His Majesty and his family had left.
Mr. Wright, you still feel the need to question the High Priest. His alibi is as tight as that can be.
This isn't going so well. I better ask him something else. I'm curious, Abbot Amy. Did you stop by the Rebel Hideout after His Majesty left?
Yes, I thought it would be wise to assess the situation.
But as I said before, there was nothing to see. The hideout appeared as it always had. And the victim's body?
It was nowhere to be found. Acolyte Faye must have already disposed of it and anything else incriminating.
So when you saw the Rebel Hideout, it looked like it does in the photo?
Yes, I would say that is how it appeared that day.
The stone slab had been put back in place.
Mr. Wright, is it not time to concede defeat?
No, wait, I just need a little more time.
If you insist.
James Master and his family when the crime occurred. Heavy crash. Objection! Have it in me. You said, and I quote, "Poor zealot, it must have felt so heavy." Why do you think he felt something heavy? You said the hideout looked like it did in this photo. If so, there's nothing that would lead you to believe he had experienced a heavy feeling. The fact is, of course, a stone slab did fall over onto Acolyte Zealot, impaling him on the Warbat statue behind him. But that was only revealed through her Benevolence's divination seance earlier.
Would the defense please get to the point?
My point is, simply hearing a crashing sound shouldn't have automatically led the victim was crushed to death.
I still don't see your point.
I'm saying that the High Priest knew. He knew about how the victim was really killed.
Why?
And that is information only the real killer could have known. I definitely saw it that time. I got the High Priest's spirit shaking in his boots. Or should I say sandals? Objection! Need I remind you, Abbot Inme was with His Majesty at the time of the crime. It's an alibi precludes him from being the killer. That's true, so he can't be the killer. However, he knew how Zealot was killed, something only the killer could know. Can this discrepancy be resolved somehow?
Well, Mr. Wright, we're waiting for an explanation.
I was just getting to that. I'm gonna think of something quick. The High Priest knew something only the killer could have known, because he had heard it from the real culprit. He must have heard how the victim died from the real killer.
The real killer?
Of course, that makes perfect sense. I don't want to believe it, but this is the only possible explanation.
So tell us, who is this real killer?
Gotta be someone close to the High Priest, someone without an alibi. person most likely to be Zealot's killer is... Take that! Your Majesty, while you were visiting the High Priest's home, you didn't see Miss Inmi at all, did you?
No, I never saw her, but what does that have to do with anything?
Did the High Priest ever leave your sight?
No, we were talking the entire time. The food was brought right to the room's entryway.
The High Priest has an ironclad alibi. But his wife does not. What the devil are you insinuating? I'm insinuating that Miss Inmi might have killed Acolyte Zealot. Objection! You have a lot of nerve making such a baseless allegation. She had no motive to kill Acolyte Zealot. He was like family to her. No. We can't entirely discount the idea. Especially if you consider that Miss Inmi could have been the one posing as Lady Kira. Objection! Eventually, even a fool mistemper his foolishness at times. Or do you truly believe Lady Kira would kill Acolyte Zealot, though he was not a rebel? Objection! As we all know, the High Priest was secretly a rebel. It would follow that his favorite disciple could very well be a rebel too.
Are you suggesting that Miss Inmi killed her husband as well?
As sad as it is to think she killed her own husband to rid the kingdom of rebels, I don't think we can rule it out. Hold it.
Yikes! Claim my wife is that rebel hunting Lady Kira, and that she slew both Zealot and myself.
That was actually not a bad voice for him. I kind of just pulled that out of thin air, but that was actually kind of close.
My lovely wife? That is utterly impossible. Ah! Never seen the High Priest so angry.
It is as Abbot Inmi states. And the accused has already been found guilty of his murder. It's far too late to overturn it.
That's right, Mr. Wright. Now apologize to the good priest before he gets angry again. Now!
No, I'm not going to apologize. The true identity of Lady Kira is a major piece of this trial's puzzle. Admit it, Abbot Inmi. Your wife, Lady Inmi, killed you. Yet even now, you continue to lie in an effort to protect her.
Hold it. How absurd. It appears the lawyer has forgotten. My lovely wife could not possibly battle the rebels in the guise of Lady Kira. For we are blessed by her holiness, and she is with child. Praise be to the Holy Mother.
I completely forgot about that.
That abominable Lady Kira figure who slew me and Acolyte Zealot was the accused.
This is bad, but I can't give up now. And don't forget, my client doesn't have the strength to fight rebels either. How could a weak young woman like her possibly? Satana! You said it. You foolish oaf of a lawyer. If only you were as blessed as Lady Inmi.
What?
Surely the accused possessed the strength, or should I say the power. The power to battle those black-hearted rebels. What are you talking about?
My good prosecutor, I see you have come to the same conclusion as I.
Such keen insight. And you have figured it out as well, Abbot Inmi. May I ask you to explain it to this putrid-brained lawyer?
Certainly, for I cannot allow him to frame my lovely wife for murder.
Foreign devil!
Your Majesty, allow me to testify as to how my affair is that murderous Lady Kira. Well, if it would assuage your anger, then by all means, please testify.
Client Faye is Lady Kira.
Acolyte Faye channeled Lady Kira's spirit. She is a spirit medium who knows Lady Kira's true name, so she could have done it. So it was the real Lady Kira who returned to root out the rebels among us. She attacked and killed me with a strength far beyond any mortal woman. But... Do you understand now? Murdered by spirit channeling explains everything. This is the only way the accused could have defeated one rebel after another. Indeed, I am a living, or shall I say, dead proof of her terrible power. Ah! His ability to channel spirits has come back to haunt her. Now, is it not time to let go and move on, Defense? No, never. I'll never give up. Now what? Think. How can I prove that Maya couldn't have channeled Lady Kira?
When did we get that scroll? I'm given only the one who will play the role of Lady Kira in the Purification Rite. Hold it! While it's true she may be capable of channeling Lady Kira, I doubt there's any proof she actually did. We are talking about the infamous Rebel Hunter here. The modern-day Lady Kira has captured many a rebel all by herself, and among them have been more than a few great warriors. Who but a real Lady Kira could have accomplished such a feat? It would be difficult for a mere mortal. At least the real Lady Kira of legend is the only likely answer. Indeed. This is not proof enough that the real Lady Kira of legend has been channeled. Well, real Lady Kira of legends is an oxymoron if I ever heard one. And again, the people of Karain believe legends to be true. Hold it! My client channeled Lady Kira. Isn't that a little far-fetched? Far-fetched, you say? Why, the very fact that I'm here proves she has the power to channel spirits. But you've no proof she actually channeled Lady Kira. Oh, but I do. Hold it! Lady Kira is an actual person. Do you really believe there ever was a woman that powerful? One capable of battling rebels much bigger and stronger than herself. There is no way to prove that. But to doubt the existence of Lady Kira is to doubt Korainism itself. It is not for us to question. Oh shit. Oh, okay. We must simply believe. How dare you doubt our legends, blah 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 blah. I won't get anywhere until I can refute their claims with some evidence. Spirit channeling is proof that she's Lady Kira? This is not good. Not to prove she didn't channel the original Lady Kira. Hold it! A strength far beyond any mortal woman. Just how strong would that be? You need but look at the wound she inflicted upon my body. Though I had hoped to never have to think about that again. Your wound? It was pretty deep, and there was a tremendous amount of blood. While Acolyte Zealot was rather small in stature, he was strong. Nevertheless, he was no match for the sheer strength of Lady Kira. These spirit channelings... okay. Two years ago? Objection! Please take a look at this piece of evidence. Anything in mind? Well... Wow. Alright. Oh, she has a mask on. Duh. Objection! That did come to mind earlier, but then I kind of refuted because I thought the picture didn't have the mask. It does still have the mask. The Tome of Secrets is only given to the priestess who performs a purification rite. Is this your proof that my client could have channeled Lady Kira? Yes, indeed. But it contains the true name of Lady Kira, a secret only revealed within. Have it in me. I'm afraid you're mistaken. That this couldn't have been used to channel Lady Kira. What nonsense!
Mr. Wright, would you care to explain?
This is why my client couldn't have channeled Lady Kira. Take that! Lady Kira's face is hidden behind a mask in the Tome of Secrets. You need both a name and a face to channel a spirit. It can't be! Without a face, it would have been impossible for my client to channel Lady Kira.
Oh my.
Therefore, the claim that she became Lady Kira by means of spirit channeling is patently false. And with Lady Kira out of the equation, my client has no motive to commit murder.
But then, who is the rebel hunting Lady Kira we've been reading about in the paper?
Yes, who is this other suspect, if there's one at all? Let us hear the defense's brilliant deduction. Think. The true identity of Lady Kira is the key to solving both murders. I thought Miss Amy was suspicious, but her pregnancy takes her out of the running. Mr. Albal is a rebel, so that doesn't make sense. At least it's with...
Mr. Wright, you have that look again. One where you know you have to say something, but you can't figure out what it is.
It's my chance to really turn up the heat. Just stir the pot till something floats to the top. Your Majesty, I know who's been posing as the rebel hunting Lady Kira.
You do? Are you sure about that?
Yes, completely.
I sense that I may regret this, but please go on and explain.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Who's been posing as the rebel hunting Lady Kira? Interesting. Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. Yes? Oh no, okay. Take that! The true identity of the rebel hunting Lady Kira we seek is... Parade Zealot.
What's this? The High Priest's murdered disciple was Lady Kira, you say?
Okay, I was right the first time. It takes some kind of... I don't know how the fuck I got through this the first time. It takes some sort of, like, kind of future knowledge to understand the logic behind it.
Peace, I say peace. Defense will continue.
Yes, Your Majesty. I whittled down the list of suspects until there was only one left. Objection! The process of elimination is not the same as solid evidence. I assume you have evidence to back up your claim. Yes, of course. I'll have some in a moment, that is. At least I hope so. It wasn't Lady Kira, and neither was Miss Amy or any of the other possibilities. That leaves Zealot, and I have the evidence to prove it. The evidence that proves Acolyte Zealot was posing against Lady Kira is this. Take that! This is what proves that Acolyte Zealot was Lady Kira. Lady Kira's warning letter. How absurd. What could that possibly prove? Prosecutor Submody? You stated that this warning letter provided that my client, or proved that my client was Lady Kira. The reason you gave it was that the High Priest's house was locked up tight. But there was another member of the family who lived there. Therefore, the Acolyte Zealot could have delivered the warning anytime he wanted. You're saying Lady Kira was not the culprit, but rather the victim. That's exactly what I'm saying.
But that would overturn the entire premise of this case. This trial has proceeded on the assumption that Lady Kira was behind the serial killings. But if Lady Kira is one of the victims, who was the killer and what was her motive?
The only suspect left is Miss Amy. There's only one possible motive. What if Miss Amy is a rebel?
What? Fiend, you're still bent on casting suspicion upon my lovely wife. Blasphemer! Blasphemer, you have no evidence of this. Repent for the mistrust in your soul.
Objection! Well, you have no evidence either. After all, the dagger was my client's prints on it, wasn't what killed Acolyte Zealot. And the plume polisher theme that he could have heard he heard could have been an alarm clock. This means all the evidence linking her to the crime have been called into question.
Was Lady Amy a rebel, and did she pose as Lady Kira to kill Acolyte Zealot? Was Acolyte Zealot a rebel, and was the accused, was Acolyte Zealot a rebel, and was the accused Lady Kira who killed him? Say either scenario is just as likely. What are we to do now?
Hold it.
The alarm clock, you say? You mean the one in the Rebel Hideout?
Yes, but what of it?
So that's it.
It's gotten into him.
That bit in me. What is so comical? Forgive my outburst. It has simply tickled my funny bone.
What did?
Theme song came from the Plume Punisher clock, you say? That alarm could not possibly have gone off.
What makes you say that? The clock was working just fine last time I checked.
Try using your head for a change.
Would not the existence of a secret hideout be given away if an alarm kept going off? Wait, you don't mean...
Indeed, we leave the alarm switched off at all times.
No!
In that case, I'm sad to say the defense claim does not hold any water. Do you care to respond, Mr. Wright?
Oh, this can't be happening. Not now.
This should put an end to the lawyer's futile struggles.
theme song the victim heard was from the accused's strap, just as we suspected. Therefore, the accused of the Rebel hunting Lady Kira and the victim's killer. I need an opening, something I can raise an objection to. That Plume Punisher's theme song Acolyte Zealot heard in his final moments. I too heard it by the way of listening device. Did you really? If you had heard it, then why didn't you testify to the fact before? Is that not obvious? I did not know such a tune could become a key matter of dispute.
Yes, the matter of the theme song came up before Abbott in me was channeled.
Alright. Well then, what if he's lying about the clock's alarm being switched off?
Miserable wretch. That would be a pointless lie, one easily disproven.
If you check on the clock, you will see that the alarm is in fact switched off. Come to think of it. What a fine item. This switch, if I'm right... We set the switch back into the off position before we left. I remember hearing it clearly. Those distinctive taiko drums in the intro are etched in my mind. They went... Dun 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 dun. Distinctive taiko drums in the intro?
The trial has gone on far too long. Shall we move ahead to the verdict phase now?
By all means, and let us also return Abbot Inmi's spirit to the Twilight Realm.
Before I go, let me say a word to my darling wife.
Objection! Now hold on just 1 minute. Your Majesty.
Yes?
The High Priest's statement is inconsistent with a certain piece of evidence.
It is?
Still you writhe in defiance of your fate. The very sight reminds me of a tortured soul writhing in flames. You won't be saying that once I show you the evidence. To do is pick the right one. This piece of evidence is inconsistent with that statement about the taiko drum intro. Take that! This is what's inconsistent with his statement, my client's Plume Punisher strap. What does it have to do with anything? It plays the Plume Punisher theme song, and here it is. The theme to the Plume Punisher, Warrior of Neo Twilight Realm. You see what I mean? The music the victim heard in his final moments might not have been the Plume Punisher theme song.
I'm afraid I am not following you. What was it if not the Plume Punisher theme?
In his final moments, Acolyte Zealot heard... There are no taiko drums in the intro of the Plume Punisher theme. So what Acolyte Zealot actually heard in his final moments was... the theme of the Steel Samurai, Warrior of Neo Tokyo.
Peace, I say. Mr. Wright, what is the Steel Samurai of which you speak?
The Steel Samurai, Warrior of Neo Tokyo is an action heroes show from America. The Plume Punisher theme is a total it's very similar to it. If you didn't know about the Steel Samurai, you could easily mistake the two.
But the fact that Acolyte Zealot heard music from an American action hero show is irrefutable evidence that the accused was in the secret hideout.
Actually, no. You have it backwards.
Backwards?
That's right. Miss Faye met an avid Plume Punisher fan here in Karain, and as a token of their friendship, she traded a certain Steel Samurai item she had for a Plume Punisher strap.
And this avid plume Punisher fan was the one who killed Acolyte Zealot.
Yes. And that avid fan is none other than the High Priest's wife. Believe in me. Objection. Do you have evidence to back up this claim, Mr. Wright? Or as forgiving as the Holy Mother is. I doubt she would tolerate yet another dose of your baseless slander. I suggest you prepare yourself to face Her Holiness's wrath. Oh, I'm prepared. To turn this entire case upside down, that is. It's my last chance. I better take a deep breath and review the evidence.
Very well then. Please present your evidence if you would, defense.
The evidence that proves Miss Amy was the one who killed Acolyte Zealot is this. Take that! It's right here in this family photo. Proof that Miss Inmy and Miss Faye traded items during their featuring their favorite characters. Objection. A family photo? And what exactly should we be looking at here? The proof that they exchanged items featured in their favorite characters is right here. Don't fuck this up now. Take that! Look at Miss Emmy's left wrist. You can see the Steel Samurai's trademark top knot right here. Which clearly makes this a Steel Samurai watch.
I never knew your wife had such hobbies in me.
This family photo was taken right before Acolyte Zealot was murdered. By that point, my client had the Plume Punisher strap, and Miss Inmy had the Samurai watch. So what the victim heard in his final moments was none other than the sound of the watch Miss Inmy was wearing. Hold it. I wish you amend my testimony, but I thought Wurtaiko drums was something else. My wife never had such a watch. It's the truth I tell you. You must believe me, your majesty. Satura! Be not deceived by the defense's lawyerly chicanery. Now what? He's been pretty quiet up to this point. What does he have up his sleeve? There's a big gaping hole in his flimsy claim. A big gaping hole? I don't think so. Oh no, I'm afraid it is there, alright. Just like the big gaping holes in your putrid brain. My brain is neither putrid nor full of holes. I'm not a zombie after all. Says the dead lawyer walking. He who has narrow vision focuses on what is before him, never seeing the big picture. Or as they say in your country, you cannot see the forest for the trees. Or if it is as you say. And Lady Inmy, the rebel who slew Acolyte Zealot, the rebel hunting Lady Kira. Then the rebel hunter would have been dead before the high priest was slain.
That means the high priest could not have been slain by the rebel hunting Lady Kira.
I've missed that. So tell me, who are you going to say killed the high priest now? No! You finally understand the sheer size of the holes that riddle your putrid brain. I'm in hot water now. Don't have any other suspects in the high priest's murder. You mindless zombie. You should have begun your journey into the Twilight Realm long ago. Now let it go and move on. No, I will never give up. I just need to think things through and figure out who really killed the high priest. If Acolyte Zealot had been Lady Kira, he couldn't have killed the high priest. So the question is, who did? Maybe I can get to the bottom of this by reviewing the events of the case in order. But What evidence could tell me something about the crime scene before the murder? Spring was stained red before the rite. Right, Rai said that the spring had been stained red before the rite even began. Spring was already red before the High Priest murder because of Zealot's blood. Spring was stained red by Zealot's blood. That's right, Zealot had been killed in the Rebel Hideout the day before the rite, and his blood had flowed into the spring. Wait a second. The High Priest knew that Zealot had been killed in the hideout. Why didn't he report it to the authorities? If I had been the killer, he could have just easily had her arrested on the spot. Why didn't the High Priest inform the authorities right then? Keep the hideout hidden. If he reported Zealot's murder, the authorities would find out about the hideout. That's what he was worried about. But by going through with the rite, the High Priest risked having Maya see the spring running red with blood. Why did he have to go through with the rite? Did he want to set up the scene during it? Wanted to set up the crime scene to conceal the hideout. But how was he planning on concealing the source of the blood in the spring? To use his own blood. He concealed the source of the blood with his own. That was how he kept the Rebel Hideout a secret. It's all starting to fall into place. I know who killed the High Priest. It was... Trust's death was a suicide. I can't believe it. The High Priest took his own life to keep the Rebel Hideout a secret. The High Priest wasn't murdered by anyone. He took his own life to keep the Rebel Hideout a secret. What? What's this? The High Priest committed suicide. Never had heard anything more absurd. Objection. The lawyer had placed a stain on the good priest's death with his putrid brain. Its putrid gaping holes are as large as the hole in his logic. What hole? Huh? You still fail to understand. You truly cannot see the forest for the trees. You claim the High Priest took his own life. But have you considered who brought the dagger to the Plaza of Devotion? After the High Priest was killed, the dagger was thrust into Acolyte Zealot's dead body. Only the accused Maya Fey could have done that. Is as Prosecutor Sabmati said. The claim is rather porous in its logic, and your evidence is too weak. Could not prove that the High Priest took his own life to conceal the Rebel Hideout. Ugh. Right, the dagger was impaled into Zealot's body, but his body had been placed at the Plaza of Devotion the previous day. Well, Mr. Wright, would you care to respond? Zealot's body was already in the plaza the day before the rite. But what if the dagger was also already in him at that time? The dagger was never at the inner sanctum. Thrust died by a different weapon. Of course, that's it! What is it? There was no need to move the dagger. It had already been stabbed into Acolyte Zealot's body the day before the rite. What? So that means... What does that mean? It means the dagger wasn't the weapon that took the High Priest's life. Objection. but no weapon was ever found in the inner sanctum. If you will not listen to reason, then I insist that you prove your assertion. Show us what you believe the real murder weapon to be. The real weapon? Nothing, but I know there had to have been a weapon there. Maybe if I think back on the trial this far, I'll spot a clue I need.
Well, would the defense care to tell us what the real murder weapon is?
This is what really killed the High Priest. Take that! Oh, shit. Oh, right. We have a specific piece of evidence for that now. That was my bad. Right idea, wrong piece of evidence. Take that! What really killed him has been at the inner sanctum all this time. And its lethality has already been demonstrated by the late Acolyte Zealot. That's right. It was a Warbat statue! Pelkuka!
You believe that statue claimed both victims' lives?
Would you care to chime in, Abbott and me?
No, he lies. Pay him no heed. Why, it's... Lady in me.
Darling, don't you think this has gone on long enough?
Hold it. Believe, no. Your Majesty, my wife knows nothing. Please, Abbot in me, let your wife speak. Now, Lady in me, please continue if you would.
It's that time again.
And what time would that be?
2:30 in the afternoon. The time my husband conducts his daily prayers. And the time Pere was slain.
There it is.
That sound! It's
your samurai alarm.
I too like to pray at the same time as my dear husband. So I set an alarm to remind me each day. But I had no idea it would come to this.
No, stop. She knows what she speaks.
Your Majesty, I am the one who slew Acolyte Zealot.
Again, I can't do it full blast. I guess I could have. Oh well.
Abbot in me! Bailiff, summon a physician at once! Physician is now attending to the High Priest, so there's no need to fear. Now let's continue.
And what about the half of him called Maya that's still among the living? Miss Inmi, will you tell us everything you know?
Truth is, I am a rebel, just like my husband. This tragedy unfolded before the rite, during the Feast of Blessings. I had gone to the Rebel Hideout to prepare it for Datz's escape.
And that's why when Acolyte Zealot suddenly appeared.
Yes. Pere was shocked when he saw me there.
Acolyte Zealot did not know you were a rebel.
I do not believe he did. I believe he was there simply to investigate the hideout.
And then he suddenly came face to face with this Inmi. So the true identity of the rebel hunting lady Kira was Pere Zealot.
Yes. He was a member of the secret police, serving directly under the Minister of Justice.
Secret police?
And this is what he said to me. I can kill rebels with impunity. The Justice Minister has my back. He was using his position within the secret police to deal us rebels a heavy blow. But murder sanctioned by the crown is still murder.
Even without the DC Act, Dirk and his insurgent scum buddies' days are numbered. What's that supposed to mean? Let's just say I got a little trick up my sleeve, so I'd watch it if I were you. Cause you got a defiant attitude, like one of them dragon dupes.
The trick up Minister Inga's sleeve was Lady Kira. No, this cannot be. My father would never.
Must be a bolt out of the blue for Rhea. Or Rafa. This explains why Acolyte Zealot abandoned his real name.
Yes. He even went as far as covering up the tattoo that all Curianist clergy members receive. Lady Kira was a member of the secret police. That explains why no order was given to investigate her attacks.
I guess I'm not alone in hearing this for the first time.
But, this cannot be.
Peace! A lady in me. Please continue.
Ray suddenly lunged at me. That's when I pushed the stone slab towards him with all my might. But I never meant for what happened next to occur.
Hold it. Allow me to take it from here. Have it in me. Are you sure you're alright now? I'm sorry you had to see that. But you need not worry about me. I'm already dead.
Please. We need to know what was so important that you would take your own life.
After I learned that my wife had accidentally slain Zealot, I chilled his body with snow to make it seem as if he died more recently than he did. And I later moved it to the Plaza of Devotion and inserted the dagger into his wound. The plaza was empty at that time, for it was before prayer time had started. Finally, I placed his body in the prayer pose, knowing that no one would notice anything wrong until the rite had concluded. It is perfectly plausible that no one would disturb him if he seemed to be praying. But you treasure our prayer time after all.
So you admit you tried to pin this crime on my Faye?
Yes, this was all my doing. I never told my wife of my plan. But surely she would have tried to stop me.
How did you get Miss Faye's fingerprints on the dagger?
I had her hold it while we were rehearsing the rite the day before. Right before the rite, I drugged her with a sleeping agent. Then I put Lady Kira's robes over the Warbat statue.
That means Maya was probably already groggy by the time the rite had started.
Finally, I ended my own life to ensure that the crime would appear to have been Acolyte Faye's own hands. But when your body was discovered, Lady Kira's robes were on the ground. How did they end up there if they were on the statue? I impaled myself on one of the statue's dagger-like feathers. I used the lampstones of my strength to hurl my body backwards. As I did, I grabbed onto the robes, taking them with me as I fell back onto the ground. Terrible! What possessed you to do such a thing?
You needn't have committed suicide simply to frame the accused.
Prosecutor Samadhi is one well versed in our kingdom's legal system. I would expect you of all people to understand.
Understand what?
The kingdom's legal system? Miss Inmi's crime? Your suicide?
It can't be... That would be sadder than sad.
Why, I believe the defense knows of what the High Priest speaks.
Yes, I finally understand. This explains why the High Priest took his own life. Take that! The Defense Culpability Act. Circumstantial evidence supports Miss Inmi's killing of the Acolyte Zealot in self-defense. However, it would be next to impossible to prove it without a lawyer. That's why the High Priest wanted to pin the crime on Maya Fey. I fail to see what that has to do with his suicide. In Korean, the divination seance is the most important piece of trial evidence. The High Priest wanted to frame Miss Fey as a serial killer. It was a clever plan in which he made sure he'd see Lady Kira in his final moments. The lawyer speaks true. That's why I placed Lady Kira's robes upon the warband statue. Made it seem like that Acolyte Fey was the rebel hunting Lady Kira.
But are you saying you used my divination seance to produce false evidence?
Forgive me, your benevolence. But if it was the only way to help my lovely wife. If you hadn't approached me first, I could have proved that the murder was in self-defense. Perhaps. But I had little faith in lawyers, despite being a rebel. Ugh. How utterly foolish to cast away one's life for such a reason! There must have been other ways to cover up the crime. Yet I had done so. Had I done so, my wife would rush to my defense. When the case went to trial, she would suffer the same fate as I under the Defense Culpability Act. I could not have lived for myself had she been convicted because of that fiendish man.
This cannot be. All I have done under the laws of our kingdom, it has all been...
Poor Rafa. She's really taking this hard. But I can't say I'm surprised. Mr. Phoenix Wright, it's time to show the might of your legal prowess. You mustn't allow another innocent soul to be charged under that despicable law. Of course, I'll do whatever I can. What I've done to you and Acolyte Fey is unforgivable. I only offer my most humble of apologies. Your Majesty. Yes. I ask that you please look after my wife. You have my word. Your benevolence. It is time that I return to the Twilight Realm. The Magatama of parting, if you please.
Very well. Hold it. Your benevolence. Please, allow me the honor. Yes. It would be more fitting for you to send him on his way.
It's in me.
Darling, so glad I was able to see you one last time. Thank you for everything.
I'm sorry to leave you like this, my love.
But now you can watch over me from the world beyond.
Yes, always and forever.
And with every breath I take, my darling, I'll be thinking of you. Farewell, my darling Trust. The High Priest has returned to the Twilight Realm.
Maya!
I feel great. I guess that means he didn't leave any regrets behind. Oh, but what about the trial, Nick?
It's over. It was a sad reality born of love and a great tragedy born of the Defense Culpability Act.
Well, I see no need to continue this trial. Does the prosecution have anything to say?
Mr. Phoenix Wright, I owe a debt to you, one that I will pay back in court someday.
Now to deliver today's verdict and overturn that of yesterday's trial. With respect to all current and previous charges against them, I hereby declare the accused Maya Fey and her defense, Phoenix Wright,
not guilty! May 12th, 4:20 p.m. High Court of Korean. Accused lobby.
So I was thinking, Nick. The legal system here is really stacked against the defense. It's totally unfair.
Yes, they even forced the High Priest to make the ultimate sacrifice just to protect his wife.
Just so sad.
Protect the status quo or join the revolution. If the real Lady Kira were here, I wonder which side she would take. Your benevolence.
Huh?
What? I was, just wondering. Are you alright?
Quiet, you. How can I possibly be alright?
Yeah, she's not doing well at all.
Who do you think you are, suddenly appearing before me? Trampling my insides underfoot and plunging the Hall of Justice into utter chaos. You even desecrated my mother and father's teachings, you soulless infidel.
Ugh, that was a bit more extreme than usual.
What am I to do? I'd always believed that communing with the victim's Mitama would lead me to the absolute truth. Each time you overturned my insights, it was revealed that they served to support false charges, rather than the truth. I am left now with that heavy truth in my heart.
I'm sorry, Rafa.
Perhaps I am not worthy of hearing the voices of the Mitama. That's where you're wrong, your benevolence. What?
Oh, that's... Maya?
How dare you? Your role is to bring forth the voice of the Mitama into our world. If you don't do it, who will? You know nothing, Maya Fey. It was spirit channeling, not a divination seance that brought the truth to light. How dare an outsider like you employ the Queen's secret art? But what can I do? My spiritual power does not even approach yours. Is it not a cruel joke? The real priestess bested by a lowly outsider.
Be so hard on yourself.
Why not? It's worth at least a laugh or two. You shouldn't talk like that. Huh? Listen, your benevolence. You were just fulfilling your duty, weren't you? And you're the only one capable of performing the divination seance, right? The station of the Royal Priestess is not something to abandon lightly. The station of Royal Priestess? People of your kingdom believe in you, but if you really mean all that you just said, then what are they supposed to believe in? You know not of what you speak. Actually, I kinda do. After all, I'm only here training so I can become master of my village back home. A village master, you say? I do not know. Seems I owe you an apology. Even today, I called you a neophyte practitioner. It's all over, right, you benevolence? Thank you for finally acknowledging me.
Future queen and a future village master? I guess it shouldn't be a surprise. considering they may have had a common ancestor. Maya's right, your benevolence. But Ted, your insights were a crucial piece of evidence in this last trial. It doesn't matter if they weren't always 100% accurate. You should be proud of what you did. You've played an important role in assuring that justice was served. Besides, your insights aren't the only problem here. Whoops! And besides, your insights aren't the problem here. It's your kingdom's legal system. Without lawyers, your insights have come to be accepted as the sole truth. And the Defense Culpability Act, which gives rise to that, is the root of it all. But that is the dangerous thinking of a rebel. Your benevolence. Crown Princess, you were destined to rule this kingdom one day. That means there will be many things that you alone must determine. Things like how to keep your people happy and what is true and what is false. And most importantly, what role you must play therein. I wonder if I'm even up to the task. Knowing you, your benevolence, you're more than capable. I've never heard Maya talk like this before. She's really come a long way. Okay. What was that? It came from the hallway! Smoke! We better go check it out! Hurry! Miss Inmee! Mr. Wright, Acolyte Faye, I'm so sorry for what transpired. You were almost sentenced to death because of me. I will make amends by picking up where my husband left off. I will see the revolution through so nothing like this can ever happen again. For that is the depths of my love for my dearly departed husband. Lady Abby, wait. Oh god. Lady. Why is this so. Hey, Lady Amy, we gotta go. We gotta hurry. That voice, is that Mr. Obal? I must tell the people. They must learn that the peace we enjoy is a false one. One built on the backs of innocents charged with false crimes under that odious DC Act. We have it in our power to forge a society in which the law judges us all fairly. Hey there, PW. Okay. Oh, there we go. Hey there, PW. I wish you had more time to talk, but, Dirk. Oh, Dirk, everything's ready. It's time to go. Dirk. Wait, was that the rebel leader, Dirk? After him, don't let him get away! Power to forge a society in which the law judges us all fairly. It's the start of a legal revolution. Hey Nick, hate to bother you while you're lost in thought, but I just got this great idea. What is it? The Steel Samurai versus the Rebel Dark. I better make for another awesome TV show. And if we threw the Plume Punisher in there, everyone would go nuts over it. I'll never get what she sees in those shows. But it's good to know that no matter what happens, Maya will always be Maya. Alrighty, that is the end to the third case. And a little bit of a cliffhanger for later. But for right now, well, for right now, we're going to end the stream. We're done for tonight. But next time, we fly on back over to the States and catch up with Apollo and Athena in episode 4, Turnabout Storyteller. And yes, we are fucking saving the game. No, no. Still vying for Twilight Princess on the Switch at some point. So that was good. That was good. Like you said, that is a lead into like the real meat of the Crane arc, but we'll have to pick that up after the next case. It's gonna get good. I think this next case is also, from what it is actually extremely interesting. Like it tickles my psychology boner a little bit. Wording, but that'll be for later. So, got a Phoenix Wright stream in. Oh my gosh, took fucking forever. What is up for the next rotation? Tomorrow is not going to be anything. Friday, the entire group is going to be here for some more 3 houses. We're going through the Blue Line route right now. Saturday, I'm going to be joining Chris on his channel with everybody for some more Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Sunday is going to be nothing. Monday, Chris will join me here for some more Virtue's Last Reward. And Tuesday, PJ and Suzie will be joining me for some more Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. And we'll see on Wednesday if we can get some more Phoenix Wright done. I don't have any videos even close to prepped right now, so that is kind of on a not hiatus, but I'll get to it when I get to it. In terms of Chris's channel, the only thing that I have to announce is that stream. He doesn't have anything at least prepped and ready to go per se, but you know, if he does upload any videos, if it's any time within the next few days, it'll be at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. PJ's channel is not dead. Hopefully he'll be getting back this year with some more some Dragon Age 2. And then we go to Suzie. The gaming channel is not dead. Her art channel, Growing Rose, however, has been having some activity lately. On Friday, she uploaded a piece that took her about 6 hours to make of Dancing Felix from Three Houses. And apparently, she has something going up tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I think. It's either tomorrow or Friday. I don't know whether that is, so I'm very interested in seeing it. Related to that, commissions are open for her. She has a little bit more time on her hands lately, so if you are interested in commission and you want examples, so we have the updated profile picture that she made, as well as if you were here from the beginning of the stream, we have this lovely piece of art right here. This is actually a commission that I commissioned her for a little bit ago, and it's all of us. It's all of us in our kind of poke forms here. She did an amazing job. So if you want a piece of art of your own from her, definitely go and check her stuff out there. She is also, and you know, as if she isn't doing enough, she is also running an Etsy. Right now, she's just doing a standard 3-card tarot, a past, present, future reading, but eventually she is going to expand on that, and everything is down in the description for your convenience, so you can check it out at your leisure. On that note, definitely check out all of these channels. We love what we do. Some of us get to do it more than others, and some of us are fucking crazy for doing so, but you know, we have a whole bunch of different things that we do across these channels. Even if stuff is not being uploaded in the present, there's a lot of stuff in the past that you can watch. So definitely watch through some of these streams. If you want to support us further, there's always leaving a like, leaving a comment. If you want to follow us, there's that subscribe button and clicking that bell so you're notified of everything that we do when we do it. But there's also the 5th member of our group, Pooja or Smiley, depending on how you want to address her. She doesn't run a channel per se, but she is involved. She does join us from time to time. Right now she's in both group streams, so 3 Houses and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, as well as one of the video series that are on lockdown right now, that I have to edit, that is just that's just left on my hard drive at the moment. The 5 of us get together every week to hang out, have fun, play games, make content, do other things. We do it because it's fun. That's the general consensus. We wouldn't be doing it otherwise. And to prove that point further, we are not going anywhere. Each stream day that was listed on this channel alone, not to mention everything else, has its own list of games that we need to get to, so we're going to be here for quite a while. As an audience, I want to thank you guys as well for joining us on all of these adventures, whether you are actively talking to us in the chat, whether you're lurking, whether you're watching this in the future, whether you have this on as background noise, in whatever capacity you turn on this content and hopefully enjoy it. I thank you for taking time out of your day to do so, because it's always nice to know that you guys are enjoying this stuff as well as we enjoy putting it out. But I'm going to head on out. It's getting kind of late. If you don't care about anything else that was listed, I will try to join you guys here next week for some more Spirit of Justice. Otherwise, over the course of the next 7 days, I'm sure I'll be seeing you guys around. But that is that. So, for one last time tonight, thank you guys for watching. And see you guys later. Good night, everybody.